Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's time for this week's Pokemon TCG live online match, number 54 on the channel. First of all, yes, I am a couple days late with this, unfortunately. I was working a lot trying to get the Pokemon Sapphire playthrough ready to roll. There was a lot of stuff to do with the layout and the thumbnails and the new intro I put together for that. I kind of want to start putting intros into some videos for the channel to sort of make it almost like a TV show sort of thing, you know? Do you think I should probably do one for the TCG matches? Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see some sort of little kind of an animated, lively intro for these things every week instead of just jumping right into my face and me saying, welcome back, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all that being said, we are here with the Pokemon TCG match for the week. A couple days late, but this kind of works well with the thought I had about pushing things back towards later in the week because of how school is in session now. There could be schoolwork for everybody out there during the week, of course, and the weekend might be when you have more time to watch stuff. But, again, leave a comment on that as well. Let me know, do you want to see this stuff, like the TCG match, more towards the Friday and the weekend part of the week? Or if you want me to try to push it back to Wednesday, just let me know what you're looking forward to and what day you'd like to have this on. All that being said, for this week, we're going to continue taking a look at the Break evolutions from the Steam Siege expansion. I think there's only 3 left to look at. I do know of one in particular is the one we're looking at this week in the deck that I'm calling Flame Breaker. You can probably easily tell why it's called Flame Breaker. As you can see, we're going to focus on Talonflame BREAK. It is a Fire-type Pokemon with 170 HP, of course. It Break evolves from Talonflame. And the attack for 2 Fire Energy, Flare Blitz, does a powerful 150. Discard all Fire Energy attached to this Pokemon. Kind of a downside, and it's possibly going to pull through. I have some ideas for how to keep that energy attached. Now, as I get partway into this introductory part of the video and talking about the deck, I'm going to make a live change because I realized I had a plan in mind that didn't pan out in the practice, and I'll fix that up and explain why as we get to it. But I do have 2 Talonflame BREAK in the deck. I've got 4 Talonflame from Steam Siege, and I haven't really used this sort of focused on using this. I was just trying to throw it in the deck previously, but I am going to focus a lot on the Talonflame because it's really awesome. The ability of Gale Wings. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you are setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. So right from turn 1, you can have a Stage 2 Pokemon in play, and the attack is amazing. For 1 colorless energy, any type, Aero Blitz does 40 damage, and search your deck for up to 2 cards, your choice, and put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. If that's not good enough, this Talonflame has free retreat as well. You can easily start with it as your active Pokemon if it's in your opening hand, and retreat into something more defensive if you need to. I really like this Talonflame. So I've got 4 of these in the deck. I've got 2 Fletchinder, and I've got 3 Fletchling. So that means I'm likely to only get 2 Fletchinder into play, of course. I don't have anything to rare candy into Talonflame from Fletchling, but this works out pretty decently. I do have the option to possibly get 2 Talonflame BREAK in play if I can get both Fletchinder. So there are 2 of those. Those are from the Steam Siege expansion as well. For a simple energy, Glide can do 30. And I've got 3 Talonflame, 4 Talonflame, but 3 Fletchling of various types. They're not really going to be used for the attack, if at all possible. This one has Acrobatics from Roaring Skies. Why did it jump to that one? We've got the Phantom Forces one. Is that? No. I want this to be standard. Hang on. Let's get this out of here. Why did it give me that option? Let's do a little bit of live editing right now. So let's just throw... Do we have another Generations one? I do not. I must have another Roaring Skies one, though. Bear with me as I do some live deck building, so to speak. Just more live deck editing. And what we're going to do right now, I'm going to add another Talonflame BREAK into the deck, and I'm going to take out this Carbink BREAK. I'll just show the idea that I had. Diamond Gift for a simple fighting energy can do 20 damage, and attach 2 energy cards from your discard pile. Not just special energy or basic energy, it can be any energy, for example, burning energy. Attach it to one of your fighting Pokemon. I forgot about that restriction, it only works for fighting type Pokemon. My idea was I could use the Carbink BREAK to attach burning energy to Talonflame BREAK, but it does only work for fighting types, so sorry Carbink BREAK, you're going out. And you know what we're going to do? I'm going to add another Carbink with Safeguard. I think that is probably the best way to... That's the wrong one. I need this one that I have more copies of. And bear with me as my computer is having a problem working the game today. Sometimes some cards are showing up invisible. And unfortunately, I don't know how to help that, but I'll try to explain the cards if I know what they are as we're playing through them. Anyway, let's recap. I've got 3 Fletchling in the deck, 2 Fletchinder, 4 Talonflame with Gale Wings, 2 Talonflame BREAK, 3 of the Carbink with Safeguard. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon EX. Definitely good to put that in the active spot as a deterrent for damage as I prepare the Talonflame BREAK on the bench. Power Gem does a basic 40 damage. This thing is more going to be a wall than an attacker though, so we're not going to focus too much on putting energy to that to fight. Just 1 energy to pay for that retreat cost if necessary. That's going to be the 14 Pokemon in the deck, so in essence, I have 10 basic, or not 10 basic, but 10 Pokemon I can play from the start. 6 basics and 4 Talonflame. One of those could be played as the active Pokemon. So 14 Pokemon in total. As for the energy, we'll scroll down here first. I've got 3 basic fighting and 5 basic fire, as well as 4 burning energy. This card can only be attached to fire Pokemon. It provides fire energy while it's attached to a fire Pokemon. If it is discarded by the attack of the fighting Pokemon or the fire Pokemon it's attached to, attach this card from your discard pile to that Pokemon after attacking. So, although you do have to discard all fire energy attached to your Talonflame BREAK to use the attack, burning energy will come right back on a Talonflame BREAK as soon as you finish your attack. So that is the idea with those special energies. The basic energy is there mostly, as you'll see, for draw support, but it could provide energy to the Talonflame BREAK for some damage. A fighting energy could power up the Aero Blitz as well for the basic Talonflame, or Stage 2 Talonflame. So that is going to be 12 energy cards. Moving on to the 34 trainer cards, we start with a couple of energy retrievals, bringing back 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to hand. Escape Rope to force the opponent to switch, but also if I don't want to lose energy off of a Carbink to retreat it to the bench, I can play that Escape Rope. A couple of Evo Sodas to evolve up into some higher levels, such as the Talonflame, Talonflame BREAK, whichever. I've got 2 level balls to find Pokemon of 90 HP or less, and I've got a number of options for this week: Fletchling, Fletchinder, and Carbink. I've got 2 Professor's Letters to find 2 basic energy from your deck into your hand. 2 Puzzles of Time, and I don't usually use these, but they could come in handy. You may play 2 Puzzle of Time cards at once. If you play one, look at the top 3 cards of the deck and put them back in whichever order you like. If you play 2 of these at the same time, you get to put 2 cards from your discard pile back into your hand. Definitely going to be useful if I can get both of them in hand. So I've got 2 Special Charge as well. Shuffle 2 special energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. If I do happen to lose that burning energy for some other reason than using it as the attack of the Talonflame BREAK, I can shuffle them back in and possibly find them. If I use maybe Puzzle of Time, I can put one on the top. I've got 2 Super Rods to shuffle in 3 basic energy or 3 Pokemon, or a combination of the 2, put them back into the deck. I've got a Switch card, again, for switching my Pokemon around. The free retreat of Talonflame isn't going to need that, but just in case Carbink is active and I don't have an energy to retreat it with, Switch could come in handy. 2 Ultra Balls, discard 2 cards from hand and search your deck for any Pokemon you want, put it into hand. I say this many times. I play Professor's Letter to find 2 basic energy cards. I play Ultra Ball, discard those energy to find a Pokemon. I then can play the energy retrieval to bring those 2 energy back, getting a Pokemon and 2 energy in the process. The final items are going to be a couple of Versus Seekers to bring back some supporters from the discard pile. Supporters start with a Judge card, could come in handy. If the opponent has a decent hand of cards and I've got only a few, I can play Judge and we both shuffle up and draw 4 cards into our hand. Lysandre to bring up a bench Pokemon on the opposing side for possibly a quick knockout, or to slow things down, stall the game out if I need some more time to set up. I've got a Pokemon Center Lady to heal up. I've got Pokemon Ranger, which could come in handy. I don't think any of my attacks are really going to require it, but if the opponent does something to place an effect on me or my Pokemon, I can play Pokemon Ranger to remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. I have a Professor Birch's Observations and Professor Sycamore, both will get a new hand of cards. 2 Skyla, because she is very versatile, very useful in any deck that you want to run. Search your deck for any trainer card you want. More often than not, you're going to see that I use it to get the Scorched Earth, possibly, or if that's in play, I can use Skyla to find a Professor's Letter to find the basic energy required to make use of the Scorched Earth. But she is very useful for whatever trainer card you want to get. Teammates is also in here. I've said many times I should consider running one of these every time I make a deck, just in case I get something knocked out on my side, and there's always that potential. So Teammates works well. If a Pokemon of mine was knocked out on the opponent's last turn, I can play Teammates to search my card for any, or search my deck for any 2 cards that I want, just like the Aero Blitz attack of Talonflame, but of course this is before your attack. Next we have 2 Winona, because there are a number of colorless Pokemon in the deck, the Fletchling and Fletchinder, and the Talonflame. I get to search my deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon and put them into my hand. Could speed up the draw support of the deck also. And 2 Scorched Earth, Stadium card that stays in play. Once during each player's turn, they may discard a fire or fighting energy from hand. If so, draw 2 cards. That is definitely good to speed up your drawing of your cards and make your deck run a little bit faster. And just for a little bit extra cards into hand if possible, Lucky Helmet, the only tool I'm running this week. Attach it to a Pokemon, and whenever the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if your Pokemon is knocked out, draw 2 cards. Definitely very good to keep drawing some more cards, some more useful stuff to make immediately on the next turn, because the opponent ends their turn with that attack. That is going to be the Talonflame BREAK deck, the Flame Breaker, featuring 14 Pokemon, 12 energy, and 34 trainer cards. Let's see how we can do this week in our Pokemon TCG live online matches against the opponents. Alright, we are going up against Ultra Rally with a Lightning and Colorless deck. That's a bit of a problem because our Talonflame, well, basically all of our Pokemon except for Carbink are weak to Lightning. I didn't mention exactly why, but the reason I did choose to include Carbink in the deck is because since we do have a weakness to Lightning, then we can have some super effective damage with Carbink if we need to attack with it, because we can cover our Lightning weakness. But Ultra Rally gets the coin flip and takes the first turn. We do see a Carbink to start with. Unfortunately, we do not have an option to get the Talonflame right off the bat, but Puzzle of Time could come in handy, helping us get something at the off the top of the deck. It's kind of good we have our fighting type for the start, though, because if they do have lightning Pokemon, we can get super effective. Plus, most colorless Pokemon are weak to fighting as well. I shouldn't say most, though. Most, well, some of them are represented normal types from the video game. That is weak to it, but there is also the flying type Pokemon that are represented by colorless cards in the TCG. And those are going to be resistant to fighting. So we see Pikachu gets a lightning energy attached. On another turn with one more energy could hit us for 30. I'm hoping we can get something else in play. Alright, my turn begins. We find Skyla. Very useful. I'm going to play her to find myself a Scorched Earth. I'm going to drop that down. So, since I can only draw 2 cards using this, what I'm going to do is drop that first. And before I draw, I'm going to play Puzzle of Time and see the top 3 cards. The best bet, well, since we can't really use the Talonflame yet, I'll grab 2 more Carbink. Why not? And we will Scorched Earth away. So I kind of want them to evolve into Raichu right now and get the knockout on Carbink, because that is going to allow me to play teammates on the next turn. Let's drop these 2 Carbink onto the bench right here. And that's all we can play from hand. They are not visible at the moment. The computer is laggy, but they just popped in right now. So do you have some evolution, perhaps? You're going to knock out my Carbink? You're more than welcome to do so. I would love to make use of that teammates. Oh, my Scorched Earth! No! I got one more in the deck, though. And a level ball. Does Raichu have 90 HP? It might. It does. So, fortunately, the Thunderclap shot is not going to be able to hurt us. We do not have Pokemon EX. But they're going to go with the Electro Ball. Alright, they could have evolved right now, but they realized they couldn't do any damage. And turn is over! Can't play anything. But, once they evolve into Raichu and get the knockout on Carbink, Talonflame, Teammates is going to be played. Now, what does this even do? 70 plus, possibly 20 more. Fair enough. And they get the head, so they do drop the Carbink, but that was what I wanted. I got them right where I want them, maybe. So they gain themselves a prize card. We're going to send one of our Carbink up to take the hit. What do I want to play? Well, that kind of gives me an idea. I was going to go for the Scorched Earth and a Professor's Letter, but the letter is right there, so Scorched Earth, first of all. Whereabouts are you? Right there. And you know what? I'm going to grab Lucky Helmet, too. I'll attach it to the Carbink. If you want to hit me, you're welcome to, but I'll gain some more cards in the process. So let's drop the Professor's Letter out, grab 2 Fire Energy. Yeah, I can't really do much damage using, well, with 2 energy I could knock out, or not knock out, I can get 80 damage using one of the Carbink. I'm going to do that, just on a whim, just to see what happens. I will drop a Fighting Energy onto the Carbink on the bench, attach a Lucky Helmet to the active Carbink, play out the Scorched Earth, use that for some draw support, discarding the Fire Energy from hand. Finding 2 more cards, we get ourselves another Fire Energy, which I can use to power up the Carbink on the next turn, or I could use it to draw more cards because we're not in a good spot. We have no access to any of our Talonflame possibilities just yet. With 4 Talonflame with Gale Wings in the deck, it's a decent, I'll say, chance that you'll get one of them to start with, but not a super good shot. as they Ultra Ball into Raichu Break. Maybe. Alright, I guess we'll never get to see what that was. I guess it was a Shinx, though. And Electro Smash, they do get the knockout. But we get 2 cards. Ooh, Ultra Ball. Alright, so our Carbink comes up. Sycamore. Well, here's what I think might be the best thing to do. Since we are desperate, I'm going to Ultra Ball and discard a couple of cards here. I will grab a Fletchling. I am going to Sycamore everything away. I'm losing a lot of decent cards in the process, but I have a chance to pull something off here. I will attach this to Carbink, just so I can get some damage off. We will play Sycamore and lose everything else from hand. Kinda hate losing all that good stuff, but we gotta do what we gotta do. And we see no access to any fire energy for the Scorched Earth, unfortunately. But Skyla is in hand. I can make use of that on a following turn. Do I want to play the Ultra Ball right now? I'm thinking, why not? We'll Ultra Ball, grab ourselves another Pokemon. I'm gonna keep Skyla. I don't think Lysandre is super needed right now. We'll get rid of him, and I think Pokemon Ranger we can get rid of as well. We'll grab ourselves a Fletchinder that can do Glide for 1 energy. So the idea is, on my next turn, after I do 80 damage to the Raichu, unless they heal, I can get a knockout with 1 more energy. So let's go ahead and Power Gem for a basic 80 damage. Boom. 10 HP left on the Raichu. Now, unless they flip heads for the Electro Smash, they're not going to be able to survive another hit from Carbink. Let's see what happens here. They could retreat, though. They have free retreat on this Raichu. They go for the Electro Smash. They flip tails. Carbink survives with 20 HP remaining. Not bad. As we find Fletchinder. Well, we have Fletchinder. We find Level Ball. I will play that out. Grab ourselves another Fletchinder. Or just a Fletchling. There's only 1 Fletchinder in the deck. Oh, 'cause I threw one out. What am I talking about? So, Fletchling down to the bench. Skyla is probably the best way to go here. I could judge, but it's going to give them an extra card. So let's just go ahead and Skyla for a Professor's Letter. Or, if we don't have one, in fact, hang on. Let me just check the discard pile. How much do we have in there for energy? We have 2 fire energy, and so I think thinning the deck is the best way to go. Hang on, let's see the cards. How much do we have in here for energy? Bear with me as it decides to load up. Is that all that's in the deck? We have no more fire energy, so let's go ahead and... I'm going to Professor's Letter anyway. I'm going to grab 2 fighting energy instead. And I'll use those for discard purposes as I try to find access to our Talonflame. So 2 basic fighting in hand. Those are the last energies in the deck, too. I've got to keep that in mind. But I don't think I have any way to draw any more using Professor's Letters anyhow. So that card discards over time. And I can make use of the Scorched Earth. Discard this energy and draw 2 more cards. Finding myself a Level Ball and a Talonflame BREAK. Now, I don't think there's anything left I can get with the Level Ball, though. Let's just go ahead and Power Gem, knocking out the Raichu. So we gain ourselves a prize card at least. And that card happens to be the glorious Fire Energy. Not terribly bad, not super amazing, but... Oh, and this Lugia is resistant by fighting attacks by 20, and pressure reduces by 20 more. We can't hit that thing with our Carbink. Guess I'm gonna have to go for a Talonflame. Not bad. Trainer's Mail. They find themselves a Sycamore. They can toss everything out and grab a whole new hand of cards, just like I. Did I do that yet? I did. All right. Sometimes when you're playing a bunch of matches back-to-back, it's hard to remember what cards have I played in this particular match. Not bad. Max Elixir attaching an energy to the Shinx. Lugia is going to take more energy to power up, though, before it can attack us. And a Fighting Fury Belt added to Lugia for added HP. That's 40 more HP, I believe. We have a Special Charge. Definitely nice. What do we have in here for Special Energy? I think at least 2. Yeah, there's 3 in there, so let's shuffle 2 of them back in immediately. 2 of our Burning Energy shuffled back in. Now then, I'm going to judge first, I think, might be the best way to go. Let's do that. We will judge. I'm going to lose. Yeah, I'm going to go down by a number of cards. I'm okay with that, though. Let's see what random luck gives me off the top. We have an Evo Soda. Excellent. Very good. So that is going to be played immediately to get one of our Talonflame in play. Right into the, not in hand, but onto the bench. And we have an option to... How much do we have in the discard pile for energy? 2 basic fight, or fire. We will discard this first, see what 2 cards we happen to get. A fighting and a special burning energy. So we will energy retrieve and grab 2 of these fire energy. Attach 1 to our Talonflame. Do 0 damage using the Aero Blitz. However, we will get to draw 2 other cards that we want from the deck. Retreat the card bank using the fire energy. And go for the 0 damage Aero Blitz. But we're using it to gain access to other cards. Oh wait, we do damage, okay. And we're going to grab a Talonflame BREAK. And I think, you know what I probably want to do is play... Well, how much do we have in here for colorless Pokemon? I was going to use Winona. 2 Talonflame, not really particularly useful. I think probably Super Rod might be the best thing to do right now. We'll grab that. Into hand they go. Alright. We can shuffle back in a bunch of the Pokemon that we had to discard along the way. And use the Level Ball to find another Fletchinder. If there is still one in there. I believe there's still one in the deck after I shuffle it back in. And we see... the card with no name. Evo Soda. Okay, so Luxray is now on the bench. As I say, that is kind of dangerous because... Oh, come on! I need my cards. Curse you, N! So everyone shuffles their hands into the deck and draws a card for the remaining number of prizes. I got Sycamore, or not Sycamore, I got Birch. That could be useful. But we get the Super Rod back, too. Let's go ahead and shuffle those in. I'm going to choose a Fletchinder. Let's grab a Carbink, and I don't think I need another Talonflame just yet. There are still 2 more in the deck, I believe. Let's shuffle another Fire Energy back in. And we will play Level Ball to find the Fletchinder we just shuffled. We'll play that onto the bench. And I think probably the best bet right now, I'm going to... Okay, if I place Birch, I can get some decent cards. I have a good chance to get a basic fire or fighting energy, so I'm going to play Birch first, and then I can use the Scorched Earth if necessary. As long as I get a good hand of cards, I only get 4, but I do find a basic fire energy, fighting energy. I keep mixing up those 2 things. Alright, discard this, draw 2. What do we find? We find another Talonflame and a special charge. Probably don't need to make use of that just yet. We're going to go with the Aero Blitz, doing 20 damage, and grab another Talonflame BREAK. What else can I make use of? I think I'll grab the Burning Energy. Let's go with that. So, if I can bring... Well, the Luxray... Yeah, we could one-shot the Luxray if we can get it to the active spot. Ultra Ball. What I'm thinking... I should leave this Talonflame active to keep drawing cards for us, and if I can get Lysandre, I could force that Luxray into the active spot and get the KO. That might be the way to go. Luxray BREAK. What can that even do? I remember using it on the channel before, but I forget what the attack even does. Luxray BREAK. Wild Fury. Flip a coin until you get tails. This does 40 more damage for each head, so we can't one-shot it anymore with Talonflame BREAK. This presents a problem. But we will go into Talonflame BREAK regardless. We'll play a Talonflame to the bench. Probably the best bet. I can go for the knockout now. How much will we do? 130. Yeah, we'd knock out the Lugia, but we wouldn't be powered up to take out the Luxray just yet. So, what I plan to do, I'm going to discard an energy with the Scorched Earth. Find an energy retrieval. Probably the best idea. I'm going to grab the energy retrieval, bring back 2 energy into hand. Let's go for a couple of fire energy. I'm going to use the Aero Blitz one more time to grab Lysandre. I will attach this to the Talonflame on the bench. Now, I have to try to get another Talonflame BREAK to make this work, but the idea is if I can do some good damage to the Luxray BREAK before the first Talonflame BREAK goes down, I can get a knockout with the other one. So in fact, I can just use this. I can use the Aero Blitz to find Talonflame BREAK and Lysandre. Guess what? Lysandre's not in here. Ha, great. Alright, so let us instead escape rope. That's going to come in handy. Alright, and they don't even know what's planned yet. Yes! We might have this one. The opponent is up next. And I kind of like this break versus break. Professor's Letter, getting 2 basic energy from the deck. And it's kind of good they didn't manage to get rid of our Scorched Earth again. So they're trying to get that retreat cost paid for. In fact, they might have it. There they go. So up comes the Luxray Break. But my next plan... that's enough damage. So, what does Snarl do again? The defending Pokemon does less damage. Okay, so that's not going to affect our Carbink, who is coming up now, to go for some decent 80 damage using its Power Gem. Go ahead and attach Fire Energy to Carbink. We will Break Evolve the Talonflame on the bench. And I think I'm just going to go for the damage. Let's do 80 to the Luxray Break. Weakening it nicely. Putting it in KO range for a Flare Blitz from Talonflame BREAK once we get it back to the active spot. They only have 90 HP remaining. They play Birch, shuffle their hand away, draw 7 new cards, or 4 possibly. 4 new cards, even better for me. And let's see, we got a Shinx on the bench, we got an energy attached to it. Alright, fair enough. Snarl brings down Carbink. There's only 2 prizes left on the opposing side. Kinda scary. But kinda not. Because I think we're in a good spot now. We'll put the Talonflame BREAK active. So you have 1 burning energy. Well, I got 2 burning energy in hand. I can attach 1 right now. Did I put the... Wait, we lost one of the Fletchinder, so I'm going to shuffle it back in right now. Go ahead, Super Rod. Grab a Fletchinder. Another Talonflame BREAK, and let's grab this Carbink too. Shuffle these 3 cards back in. I've only got 3 cards left in the deck, though. I was going to play Winona, but I can't risk it. I've only got 5 cards remaining, so I'm going to hope for the best. Wait, do I have any special energy I can shuffle back in? I think I have 1 burning energy. I'm going to save the special charge for the time being. Let's just go for the Flare Blitz, knock out the Luxray Break. We discard all the energy, but the burning energy goes right back onto it. So let's grab ourselves a prize card. You know, it wasn't until this turn I took a look at what I have left for cards, so in the deck, I mean, I should be very careful with that. They're probably going to try to power up the Shinx on the bench, but I do have the Escape Rope. Yeah, they're trying to get the energy onto the Shinx. What I can do is retreat the Talonflame BREAK and then play Escape Rope, and both Pokemon switch around. There's the evolution. Alright, so definitely the thing that is powering up we want to take care of. They're getting energy on that. Alright, that is the threat for the time being. But, not anymore. Let's drop the burning energy onto... I played the wrong card. I'm gonna just say done. I don't want to thin the deck. I thought I had the burning energy in hand. Alright, so we will free retreat into Fletchling, of course. Drop the Escape Rope and force a switch on the opposing side. Go for the Flare Blitz, taking down the Luxio before it can do anything to us. And both burning energy attach right back on the Talonflame BREAK. Burning energy is very nice. And you can see right there, that is the game. Kind of roughly played on my part, but we came through in the end using some kind of sneaky tactics, sneaky strategies and stuff, and that burning energy really comes in handy for any Pokemon that has to lose energy when they use their attacks. We got ourselves a gift box and some tokens. And the evolutionary daily challenge thingy goes up a little bit more, and my mouse is flying all over the place, but that is the game. So that shows you the power of the Flare Blitz of Talonflame BREAK using the burning energy to constantly recycle it back onto that Pokemon. Every turn you're doing 150 damage, and as long as you don't get one hit KO'd by any lightning-type Pokemon, then you're in a good spot to continuously do damage. And just the awesome power of the Aero Blitz attack, 40 damage, and get to search for any 2 cards you want. I love that attack. That is amazing. And Gale Wings is good if you're lucky enough to start with it in your opening hand, which, as you saw, is a real detriment if you don't, because it's hard to get that into play. You gotta evolve up into a stage 2. I realized I should have included a Wally in the deck, because I had just 2 Fletchinder in the deck, which means it'd be harder to evolve into the 4 Talonflame that I have, so Not Wally. What am I thinking? Rare Candy. I should have had Rare Candy in the deck. I could have swapped out some maybe Puzzle of Time, perhaps. But anyway, Rare Candy and or Wally would be good additions to make into this deck. If you have any suggestions for how else to improve this kind of a deck, feel free to leave them in a comment down below so that anybody that wants to sort of make this idea happen for themselves, any comments you have for possible updates and adjustments to this deck could help them out. So that is going to wrap up our, did I say it was 54? I think 54. Our 54th episode for the Pokemon TCG live online matches. There are only 2 break evolutions remaining in the Steam Siege expansion that we haven't taken a look at yet on the channel. Those Pokemon are Pyroar Break, which has Kaiser Knuckle for 180 damage, but it does 50 to itself. And the other Pokemon is Hydreigon Break, which can do 150 with Calamity Blast, discard 3 energy attached to it, and this does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So, you have a preference for either of these 2 you want to see for next week, leave that also in a comment down below. I'll see what I can assemble for a cool online Pokemon TCG deck using either Pyroar Break or Hydreigon Break. That is going to wrap up today's episode, this week's episode of Pokemon TCG. Also, give me a little comment down below if you want to see these videos closer to the weekend, as I said, Friday-ish or something like that, or would you rather I try to push them back into Wednesday so you have a little bit of cool content to tide you over during your busy school week. Just leave all that in a comment below, and I'll see what I can do about trying to give you a little bit more on time with this. As I said, I was just sort of delayed because of trying to get Pokemon Sapphire ready to roll, but now that we are flowing with that nicely, I think I'll be able to make it on time for the Pokemon TCG live online matches in the future. Hopefully. Anyway, I want to say thank you for checking out today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you're looking forward to next week when we use another break evolution of the last 2 remaining. Until then, Professor Chaz is signing off, and I'll catch you next time.